In mathematics, there's an agreed upon way in which we operate so that we can look at the same expression and get the same answer. And to remember the order in which we should operate, we can use PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, where P is for parentheses or brackets or braces, really any grouping symbol. If you see a grouping symbol, operate within the grouping symbol first. Next, move on to E, exponents. So something like 6 squared. Remember when the exponent is 2, you can say squared. If the exponent was 3, you would say cubed. But in this example, 6 is the base number. That's the number that's being repeatedly multiplied. And then the exponent is that little number in the top right-hand corner. The exponent tells you how many times that base number is a factor. So in this case, 6 is a factor twice. So 6 times 6, that would be 36. Then you have multiply and divide. Now, you don't multiply before you divide, and you don't divide before you multiply. You multiply and divide in order from the left to the right, just like you read a book from left to right. Finally, you add and subtract. Same thing, from left to right. Don't add before you subtract. Don't subtract before you add. Add and subtract from the left to the right. So let's look at 3 examples. Example 1 there, write that on your paper, 2 plus 7 minus 5 plus 6. So first thing I'm going to look for is, do I have any grouping symbols? Any parentheses, brackets, or braces? Nope. Any exponents? Nope. Multiply or divide? Nope. All I have is addition and subtraction. So I'm going to go from the left side to the right side. So I'm going to put a little bracket under 2 plus 7. That's my sole focus is right there. 2 plus 7 is 9. Everything else I'll bring down to the next line. So I'm just going to copy what this says. Minus 5 plus 6. Okay. Again, I have addition and subtraction, so I'm going to go from left to right. I'm not going to add before I subtract. I'm not going to subtract before I add. I'm going to add and subtract from the left to the right, and on the left side, that's the first thing that I see. This happens to be subtraction. So 9 minus 5, that's 4. Still have to add 6, and final step is 4 plus 6 is 10, and I'll circle my final answer. Okay? So when I say show your work, you may wonder, what does that mean? Well, what I just showed you, that is showing your work. Okay? Example 2, 4 times 6 divided by 2 times 3. So copy that problem down in your paper. First thing I'm going to look for is, do I have parentheses or any grouping symbols? Nope. Move on to E, exponents. Do you see any exponents? Neither do I. Multiply or divide? Yep, I got that. So I'm going to go from left to right. On the left side, the first thing I see is 4 times 6. I'll put a bracket underneath that. I know 4 times 6 is 24. Everything else I'll copy down to the next line. So divided by 2 times 3. I still have multiply and divide, multiplication and division, so I'm going to go from left to right. First thing I see is 24 divided by 2, which is 12. And then I bring down the times 3. 12 times 3 is 36. I know that because of my fact fluency. Circle final answer. Okay, so there's 2 examples. Here's one more example. This one's a little longer. Copy this one down. I have 3 squared minus 1 times 5 divided by 2 minus 5 times 2. Okay, so it's a little longer, but as long as I follow the order to operate, I should be okay. So first thing to look for is, do I see any grouping symbols? I see parentheses, right? Inside the parentheses, I have an exponent and I have subtraction. So I got to do the exponent first. So all I'm worried about right now is 3 squared. Notice when the exponent's 2, I'm saying squared. Now, this does not mean 3 times 2. If you put 6, you're wrong, and the whole problem's wrong from here on out. So it's important to get this right. 3 squared is 3 as a factor twice. So 3 times 3, 3 multiplied by itself. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, so everything else I'm going to copy. I still have minus 1. That's all in parentheses. Everything else I'm just copying down to the next line. So times 5 divided by 2 minus 5 times 2. Okay, so there's my expression. In this expression, do you see parentheses? Yep, right here, right? 9 minus 1, that's my focus. So draw your bracket underneath that. Wherever that little bracket is drawn underneath, that's your sole focus. That's the only thing you're worried about. Everything else you'll copy down to the next line. So 9 minus 1, that of course is 8. Everything else I'm just copying. So I have times 5 divided by 2 minus 5 times 2. Okay? Now I have no more parentheses. I don't have any exponents. I do have multiplication and division. So am I going to multiply before I divide? Nope. Am I going to divide before I multiply? Nope. I'm going to multiply and divide from the left to the right. So what do I see first? I see 8 times 5. So that's 40. Everything else I copy. So I still have to divide by 2 minus 5 times 2. Okay. I still have multiplication and division. I'm going to go from left to right. I see this first. 40 divided by 2. So take 40, cut it in half. What do you get? You get 20, right? Everything else you copy down. So minus 5 times 2. Now I'm left with subtraction and multiplication. Got to multiply before I subtract, so I'm going to do this first and put my bracket underneath 5 times 2. So that 20 I'll bring straight down. Minus 5 times 2 is 10. And last step is 20 minus 10, which is 10. Circle, final answer. Okay, so there are 3 examples on order of operations. You have 5 more on this page. Copy on the problem, show your work, circle, final answer.